Okay, I'm ready for my first pull in the M5. Oh my gosh! Wow, okay. What's up, guys? Today I have a very exciting video. I have been given the keys to a 2018 BMW M5. So starting off, looking at the front of the car, it is an extremely aggressive front end. Come down here, the car is finished off in Singapore gray metallic. It's a little bit difficult to see, but it has the option for carbon fiber in the front. I mean, this paint just shines in the sunlight. It looks really, really beautiful. You have your M5 badge right there to remind you that it's an M5. Coming to the side, it's just a beautiful car. The car has some serious rubber on it. Has Michelin Pilot 4S's, a 285 in the back with a 20-inch wheel. I mean, the car just shines in the sunlight. Now it has a classic BMW quad exhaust in the back, nice aggressive rear diffuser, M5 badge at the top right as always. All right, let's go ahead and unlock the car, head inside. Side, and immediately you are greeted by a beautiful steering wheel. We'll go ahead and start the engine. Now when you start the car, you're greeted by this beautiful display here, and these pieces of aluminum right here are actually not part of the screen. They're actually protruding from the screen, and when you turn it on, it just fits very nicely, all neatly right in there. Steering wheel is very beefy. It has a nice leather feel. As always, BMW's contrasting stitching on their M cars. The M logo here, you can adjust the how much heat you want on the wheel. And this car is just, it screams luxury. The whole dash is leather. You can see the heads-up display right there. It tells you the speed of that you're going and the speed of the road. The ceiling is all made of Alcantara, which it's just a beautiful luxury feel. Of course, leather seats. These seats are adjustable in multiple ways. Basically any way that your body is formed, you can adjust the seat to it. It has nice stitching that goes all the way around the dash. This M5 logo lights up at night, so it is, if you didn't know, you're walking up to your M5. Down here, I have dual zone climate control as always. Right here, I can adjust all of the safety features of the car. Your hazards are right there. If I come down to the bottom, this is a wireless charging port, so I can just put my phone there. I believe that that's available with the executive package, which this car has. So my shifter, the parking button used to be at the top. Now the parking button is at the bottom. And these two buttons right here, I can adjust the level of aggressiveness with the paddle shifters. So 1 would be the least aggressive, 2 in the middle, 3 most aggressive shifting. If I want to put the car in neutral, I bring it over to the left. If I want to put it in reverse, I bring it up to the top, push it over to the right to put it in drive, push it over one more time if I want to use this shifter, or if I want to use the paddles, but we'll just put it back in park. This button right here, I can turn off the traction control. This button, I can adjust the level of aggressiveness that I want the motor to be, so you can put it into efficient, comfort, and sport plus. Same thing with the suspension. I can choose how comfortable or aggressive I want or stiff the suspension I want it to be. Same with the steering. I can adjust if I want it to be in comfort or in sport or sport plus. This button right here, I can make the exhaust loud or not. Right now the exhaust is loud. one cool feature. So if I press this button right here, I can see the views of the camera. I can see the front, the rear, the side. Now this is pretty interesting. So if I open up a door, so I'm kind of close to these rocks that are right over here. So if I had a passenger, the car would be able to tell you that you have enough distance to open the door or not. And I think that is just a brilliant safety feature that's available. This is pretty interesting. So if I click menu, I can go through the whole menu of the car and I can actually see the weather. This is also touchscreen as well. So I can see what the weather is today. So I know that it's 49 degrees, the wind is 9 miles an hour. It's powered by the Weather Channel app. So if we go back to media, I can see, well, I'm not doing too well on MPG right now. I can see the whole setup of the car. I can configure everything through there. And overall, the whole iDrive system in this car, I found when I first stepped into it, I was a little overwhelmed because there's so many features and endless possibilities of the car, but it's really not that bad. Once you start fiddling with it and going in, it makes everything the way that it's laid out, it makes a lot of sense. And BMW put into mind basically everything that the customer would need in a car. So if I step into the back of the car, see you have your nice M5 logo right there. That is actually illuminated at night. And keep in mind that this seat is pushed back all of the way. I'm about 5'7" and I have at least 7 or 8 inches to the front of the seat, and this is pushed back, so I have plenty of room here. So I can adjust, this is dual zone as well. I can adjust how much air conditioning or heat I want. It has heated seats in the back. 2 charging ports right there. It has a little shelf so you can maybe put a cell phone or your wallet right there. Keep in mind that's my jacket and filming bag. If I put this down, the armrest, have a storage compartment in here, and if I press this, I have 2 cup holders. I mean, so if you're on a long trip going somewhere, I mean, this is a really comfortable place to be in. I'm not uncomfortable at all. I mean, this leather, it just feels so good on my back, and I'm very comfortable. So if you look at the styling of this car, it is really aggressive, but it's not too aggressive to the point where you think, oh, what kind of car is that? That's where the M5 has always excelled, because to the enthusiast, they know how capable it is in a straight line, in the curves, handling. But to the untrained eye, you don't know what kind of car it is. You just think that it's a BMW, but you don't know that it's a BMW with 600 horsepower. And there's little touches on this car that just make it that much sweeter to me. The front end, how the grille is, you have the ducts at the bottom, the splitter on the front, the diffuser in the back. I mean, it's just a really pretty looking car in my opinion. I think it is the best looking M5 up to date. So let's talk about performance in this car. So the car is powered by a 4.4 liter twin turbo V8 that develops 600 horsepower and 553 pound-feet of torque. Now, it amazes me. So watch this. I'll do a quick little pull here, just an automatic. This car is insane to me. This is a 4-door car. This is not a 2-door car. This is not a Ferrari. This is not a Lamborghini. Back in 2003, when the Enzo came out, it had 650 horsepower, and everybody lost their minds because of how much power this, literally a hypercar, had. You know, you fast track to 2018, you have a 4-door car with 600 horsepower and over 550 pound-feet of torque. It's mind-blowing. This is essentially a family car, and you have that massive amount of power. That torque, so being that this is a turbocharged engine, you would think that it would have turbo lag. This engine has no turbo lag at all. You put your foot down here, slams you into the back of the seat. I've been driving the car for about 2 hours now. I have been really blown away at the performance that it has. So this has, what I really like about the car is the dual zone nature of the car. So the owner has it set up so you have your 2 M buttons here on the steering wheel. looks like I'm ready to press nitrous from the Fast and Furious. That's what's pretty funny about it. So M1, the car is in efficient, suspension is in comfort, and the steering is in comfort, and it's a completely different animal. If I come down here and turn off the loud exhaust, it's so quiet in here. If I stop talking for a second, it's so peaceful and serene. But if I click that button and I bang the car into M2 mode, where the steering is in Sport Plus, the suspension is in Sport Plus, everything is in Sport Plus. The engine, the gearbox is in its most aggressive shift mode. The car is an animal. And so this 8-speed automatic is a very, very responsive gearbox. But you don't even have to use the paddles. You can just keep it automatic and the car just goes. I mean, it's the minute you want the power, it's available to you. And I'm really amazed at these new cars nowadays, where they're so two-faced. They're like Harvey Two-Face, where one side they're all sweet and nice, and then you press a button and then the car is just insane. So if I'm driving around town, I have the everything in sport right now, and if I get on the gas, you can hear, especially on downshifts, little cracks and burbles and pops. I have the windows down, so I don't know if the GoPro can pick up on it or not. But it's just the right amount of noise for the car to be fun and enjoyable for you, but not obnoxious for everyone else around you. Okay, so let's talk about handling. So I'm on an exit right now, and I have the car in 3rd gear, and I am really, really feeling everything on the road. The car is very, very, very stable. And that is in part to BMW's xDrive system, which they in turn put on this M5. Now, I just did a nice pull out of that curve, and we'll quiet the car down. And it handles so incredibly well. Now, for the BMW purists out there, every single M5 up until this M5 was rear-wheel drive. This is the first M5 to have all-wheel drive. Now, personally, this is the first M5 that I've driven, so I can't attest to previous M5s. But I really don't think any BMW purists will miss the rear-wheel drive because of how well this car handles. And the thing is, BMW offers rear-wheel drive in this car, so you can go into the iDrive system and you can select rear-wheel drive mode. One of the issues of putting the car into rear-wheel drive is that it turns off the traction control. So I don't know about you, I really wouldn't want to be putting the car into rear-wheel drive mode when it's 50 degrees outside. You know, the tires are kind of cold, so it's better to just leave the car in all-wheel drive. Well, the paddle shifters are metal, and they're either metal or aluminum, and they're finished off pretty nicely. On the back of them, there's this, it seems like a plastic or rubber coating, and I'm not sure why that's there. Maybe to help you grip it more when you're shifting, or maybe so you don't burn your hands in the hot sun. But they feel really nice, and they have a nice, when you pull the paddle, it feels really, really clean. It doesn't feel cheap whatsoever. Now, one thing that I really, really like about this, so I have the radio on right now, but I've turned the volume all the way down. But if you want to turn the volume up, instead of going to press the dial, you can take your finger like this. See? And you can turn the volume down because it has a sensor in there that senses if you want to turn the volume up or down. It has motion control, and that is so. I mean, it's been in other cars, but that's just so incredibly brilliant because it's so simple to just go like this to turn the radio up and down. I mean, that's awesome. A little bit more about this button right here, which you can see with the yellow ring. So if I press that, I can see all of the safety features that are available on this car. So I can make it individualized, or I can turn them all off. But I really like the safety features in this car. They're not too intrusive. I really like the lane assist. So if you're straying out of your lane, so if I stray out of my lane a little bit here, it'll tell me. I can feel it in the wheel that it corrects it just a little bit. Additionally, when I'm on the highway, the car knows the speed limit of the highway. So if you exceed the speed limit, a warning chime will come up and say that you've exceeded the speed limit. Also, there's this brilliant heads-up display that tells you how fast you're going and also the speed of the current road that you're on. One thing that you do need to keep in mind when you're driving this car is the sheer size of it. I come from a Volkswagen Jetta. That is my daily driver, and this is probably 2 or 3 times the size of that. Its proportions are absolutely enormous, but the visibility is very good. I can see very well in the rear view mirror from both of my side view mirrors, and it's just, you just need to be aware of its size when you're driving it. But the car does feel very nimble. One thing to get used to though when you're driving it, especially in traffic, are the brakes are a little touchy. I mean, you have very powerful stopping power, great brakes in this car. So when you're driving in traffic, you just gotta make sure that you gotta just step on the pedal very lightly, and then the car will stop, no problem. If you slam on the pedal, your face will go through the windshield. But once you get used to that, then you're in a great place of comfort after that. All right, so we're getting onto an on-ramp. Let's see. Oh my Lord. This thing is a rocket ship. I literally feel like I'm about to be thrown into space when I drive this car. Oh my gosh. I need one. This is bad. I need one. I need one now. So I just got done driving the M5. I'd like to thank my friend for letting me take his car for the day. I mean, what an experience. This car is absolutely insane. Everything about it. I mean, the comfort, the quality, the performance. Hats off to BMW for making a brilliant car. I'll catch you in the next video. Thanks. All right, we'll do a first gear pull here. Thing's like your own personal roller coaster.